So, it doesn't seem like people are interested in the video game thingy, me recording my playthrough of Path of Exile, so I'm putting that on hold right now. I may do another video game, it depends. But speaking of video digital products, let's talk about D&D Beyond. Hello and welcome, I am your grumpy guide to all things gaming, the OGGM, with another OGGM adventure. Let's talk about D&D Beyond. Because thanks to the utter shutdown of the entire world due to COVID, much of our gaming experience has been taken to the online video world via Zoom and D20, Roll20, and Skype and Discord and Google Hangouts and other things whose names I don't know. We have been playing and running and doing this great experiment that is role-playing on the interweb. And one of the main tools out there that is supposed to make our jobs easier is D&D Beyond. You can put your entire character onto this online thingy, and it supposedly does all the math for you. So all you have to do is go click, and it rolls the dice, tells you the total. In theory, it is supposed to make the game faster. So far, 2 points. Every experience now remember, this is my personal experience, and your personal experience may be completely different. My personal experience is that D&D Beyond makes the game slower. It seems to take your average individual using D&D Beyond on this a longer amount of time to get the information you need, as opposed to it does to me or anybody else just looking down at a piece of paper and going, my total plus is 7. Now that took me what? Less than a second? 7. So what? 1,000, 2, 1,000, 3, 1,000. 3 seconds to turn my head, look, and add my character sheet and know that my bonus to hit is plus 7. As opposed to somebody going to D&D Online, let's count 1, 1,000, 2, 1,000, 3, 1,000, 4, 1,000, 5, 1,000. Plus 5. So that was 5 seconds to look up just a bonus to hit with a weapon on a character I have on D&D Beyond. Now, times that by the amount of time it takes to do it, as well as the fact you're doing everything on the phone or the computer. So not only are you doing Zoom, but you're also doing D&D Beyond on your same thing. So now that doubles the time, because one, it takes at least 2 seconds to switch from one program to another. And then it takes an average of 5 seconds to get the information you need. Longer if you're involving more complicated stuff like spells or rage or something like that. So that's the first problem. It seems to me, and again, this is just me, that on average it takes a longer amount of time to look up the information on D&D Beyond than it does to just look down at a piece of paper or a 3x5 card. Second, now I've been conducting this experiment for over a year now, between online games I've run, online games I've played in, online games I've observed, face-to-face games I've run, face-to-face games I've played, and face-to-face games I've observed, where D&D Beyond is a tool. Over the past years, and especially over the past 6 months, thanks to COVID, this is what I observed. D&D Beyond is wrong. Now here's my proof. And again, my experience. I am in a situation where there is an individual playing a warlock. This individual's warlock character is on D&D Beyond. This individual's warlock has an 18 charisma, which means his Eldritch Blast is plus 4, plus an additional 2 because of proficiency, correct? Even if you don't add the proficiency bonus, which I don't know, I think warlocks add the proficiency bonus, but let's say they don't. So let's say he's just got a plus 4 to hit. That means his base to hit at first level is 5. The very minimum he can roll is 5. There's no chance in hell a charisma 18 warlock can roll lower than a 5 to hit. Now let's say said warlock also has Agonizing Blast as one of their invocations. If you're not aware of what Agonizing Blast does for a warlock character, it allows you to add your charisma modifier to the damage your Eldritch Blast cause. So you're doing a D10 plus 4, which means your very base damage is 5. 1 plus 4 is 5. So if you roll a d10, you roll a 1. The bare minimum is 5. So this individual's warlock at first level, bare minimum to hit, 4 plus 1, 5. Bare minimum damage, 1 plus 4, 5. There is no way that he can roll lower than a 5 to hit, and no way he can roll lower than 5 to damage. Now this warlock has progressed in levels. He's 6th level, which means his proficiency bonus is now +3. Now, I believe warlocks add their proficiency bonus to Eldritch Blast, but I'm not sure. But I think they do. So that means his base to hit is 7. 4 plus 3 is 7, and his base damage is 5. There's no way he can roll lower than a 7. And, well, wait, 4 plus 3 is 7, plus 1 is 8. So his base to hit is 8. D20, the very smallest roll you can roll is 1. 7 plus 1 is 8. So his bare minimum is 8, and his bare damage is 1d10 plus 4. So 5. 8, 5, right? We're all generally agreed that that is more or less the bonus to hit and the bonus damage. Now, repeatedly, according to the way D&D Beyond is supposed to work, all he has to do is hit the Eldritch Blast on the app, and it will automatically roll to hit and add the bonus to hit and the bonus to damage and tell him his total. And then he can just look down and go, I rolled a 12, I did 6 points of damage. In theory, if D&D Beyond works the way it's supposed to, that is what should happen. And yet consistently, time after time, while over the past 4 months, this character's warlock has somehow at 6th level managed to roll a 3 to hit and do 5 damage on more than one occasion by just pressing D&D Beyond and then telling the DM, what is your bonus to hit? Oh, I rolled a 3. It is mathematically impossible to roll a 3 at his level because his charisma is 18, which is plus 4 to hit. His proficiency bonus is 3, so that's 7 to hit. 3 plus 4 is 7. And the bare minimum he's going to roll if he rolls a 1 on a d20 every time is 8. 3 plus 4 plus 1 is 8. So there is absolutely mathematically no way he could roll a 5, and yet on more than one occasion he has pressed the button on D&D Beyond and told the DM 5. Again, with damage, D10 plus 4, the bare minimum, if he rolls 1 on the D10, is 5. And yet, on at least 3 different occasions, he has told the DM his damage was 3. That's mathematically impossible, but according to D&D Beyond, these are the numbers he is getting. So, either he has done something wrong with D&D Beyond, which from just the basic way D&D Beyond is supposedly supposed to work, shouldn't happen, or D&D Beyond does not work. And it is, from my point of view, easier to just write down on a big piece of paper, plus 7, D10 plus 4. There. That's everything you need to know. I'm plus 7 to hit. I'm going to roll a D10 plus 4. I don't need this to tell me that. I can write that down on a 3x5 card. My armor class, 13. My hit points, 27. There. That is the bare minimum you need to know to keep your character going. So why is consistently this happening? And it's not just this individual. It's multiple individuals over a 6-month period of time who are having issues with D&D Beyond taking way too long to find the information they need, and D&D Beyond giving them wrong information. So, is the problem D&D Beyond, or is the problem that multiple individuals don't know how to get D&D Beyond to work? Meanwhile, I, the autistic dyslexic kid who can't add, can write down plus 7, D10 plus 4 on a 3x5 card and know that's what I'm adding. You tell me. I will talk to you later. If you'd like to see me test out D&D Beyond, please support me so I can afford it, because that thing's like $100. So donate to the PayPal, and I'll do D&D Beyond playthroughs on this program.